Dear participants, I welcome all of you in this lecture on programming in Python. In today's lecture, we'll discuss decision making and loops uh, structure that are available in Python. So, to revise what we have discussed in last class, so we have seen different type of operators and their precedence as well as associativity. So we had seen arithmetic operators, relational operators, assignment and compound operators, logical operators, which is actually used in case of decision making, bitwise operators. So we have seen how there are AND bit operator and OR bit operator, XOR. So we have already seen membership operators in not in, that will be used in very prominently. It will be used in looping construct, especially in for loop, and then identity operators. So we have seen all these in last class. In today's lecture, we will discuss decision making, for loop, while loop and nested loops. So all we will discuss in today's lecture. So what is decision making? Actually when we want to take certain decision, like suppose I have to go to some other city. Let's say I'm going to Delhi. So I can go via car or via bus. So again, I need to take certain decision. So if this is true, then I would go through car, and if this is false, then I will take bus. So this is the decision actually we used to take in our day-to-day life. So similarly, how to handle these decisions? So if each and every programming language are having decision making constructs. So a program usually needs to take decisions based on some conditions, right? If this condition is true, then these statements need to be executed. Otherwise, other set of statements need to be executed. So according to the conditions, either one set of statements is executed or another set of statements is executed. The conditions are expressions. So actually, you write the condition in the format like A is greater than B plus 3. So in the form of expression, the condition will be either true or false. So the basic rule is empty or 0 is false. So if you in the condition, if it is empty, then it is treated as false. Similarly, if it is 0, it is considered as false. And true is anything else, empty and 0. So whatever the element other than empty and 0 is actually true. So non-empty, non-zero. There are 4 different decision making structures like if else, if elif else, nested if. So all we can use depending on the requirements of the solution, right? If you are working on a particular problem and it needs these type of decision making, so we can apply depending on the problem statement. So how if decision making structure works? So if a structure allows a group of statements to be executed or skip it. So like simple, this is the condition. Let me use the pen. So if this expression is true, then this line of statement will be executed, right? In the case of true. And if we are using simple if without any else, so it means if this condition is false, so another set of statements which after the if construct will be executed. So these will be executed whether if condition is true or false, right? So for true or false, if it is true, then these statements will be executed. If it is false, so nothing has been said here, right? So since it is single if statement only, but after if, all these statements will be executed, which are coming next, right? So like in this case, if condition is true, then print is even. If condition is false, we are not saying anything, right? So the statement in if a structure or any control structure must be intended. This is very important. If you are writing, if you need to execute a set of statements inside if loop, then all need to be properly intended, right? Like in this case. So this is the way Python understand a block of code. So unlike C, C++, Java, where we used to define block using the curly braces, opening curly braces and closing curly braces. So, but in case of Python, we identify block depending on the indentation. Now here we are using if-else condition. If this condition is true, so these statements will be executed. In case of else, these statements will be executed. Here is an example. Then there is one more, if elif else decision. So if expression, then these statement will be executed. Elif, these statement will be executed. Otherwise, these statement will be executed, right? So like in this case, if A is greater than B, then there are certain statements. If A is less than B, then these statement will be executed. Else, so else these statement will be executed. So what will come under else? That is A equal to B actually, right? So in this way we can apply if, elif and else condition. So else will come if both if and elif is false actually. So in that case else will come. The control will come under this else. Now we can write nested if else nested if else statement as well. Like in this case, this is the nested if else condition. Similarly, this one is the nested if. So this will come under the else part of this one, and again, so this is a nested if else condition. So it depends on your problem statement how you are going to introduce nested if else, but nested if else is possible. Although we try to avoid nested if else, since nested conditions are not very easily understandable. So that's why, but you can use Python allows you to use nested if else, but it is advisable not to apply so nested conditions, right? Zen of Python, we have already discussed in Zen of Python. It has already, Zen of Python says, plain simple is better than nested, right? So Zen of Python actually guide us how to write code in any programming language, and Python language is based on those concepts. We can even apply pass statement as well. Suppose if this condition is true, and what about false condition? So as of now, I'm not saying anything. So just pass. It means it is possible that code is not ready at this moment of time, or we do not want to do anything if this condition is false. So in that case, pass statement can be added. So it is written when a statement is required syntactically, but you do not want any code to execute. So when pass is executed, nothing would happen. It is useful in places where your code will eventually go, but has not been written yet. So you have not written some code at this moment of time. Later on, you want to add it. So in that case, you can add pass statements. Lines and indentation is very important. I have already told you the line indentation is used to identify the block of code. The line and indentation is mandatory for block. The number of spaces in the indentation may vary, but all statements within the block must be intended the same amount, like in this case. So all the statements inside this if condition should be intended with same spaces or tab, right? Like this is not a valid statement, since this print is not properly indented, right? So this is an invalid code in this case. Now there are certain programs. Write a program to read an integer and use bitwise operators to check the nature of even or odd of the integer. So you need to identify, you need to write a program that would identify whether an integer is odd or even, and you need to use bitwise operators, right? So you can apply certain properties here. So the binary representation of every odd integer consists of 1 at the rightmost position. So whatever the binary number is, if it is odd, then obviously at the rightmost bit would be 1 if it is odd number. If your number is even, then the rightmost bit would be 0, right? Suppose my number is 101, so this is odd. So what I will do, I would apply bitwise AND operator with 1, right? So I will apply bitwise AND operator and with 1. So what it will generate? It will generate 1 1 1 0 0. It will give me 1. Suppose if there is odd number 1 1 0 0, sorry, even number. So this one is the even number, right? 12. This is actually 12. If I will apply bitwise AND with 0 0 0 1. So it will give me 0 0 0 0, all zeros, right? So if after applying bitwise AND, if it gives me 1, it means the number is actually odd. If it gives me 0, it means the number is even. So in this way I can write the program. Now there is one more problem. Write a program to find maximum of 3 numbers, right? So if you have been given 3 numbers, suppose user is entering 3 numbers and you need to find out the maximum of these 3 numbers. Write a program to read the values of 2 points on x, y and find out the distance between 2 points. So you can apply math functions as square root, sqrt for square root, POW for power, finding the power of a number x to the power y, suppose. So we can apply these mathematics functions. So I will try to solve this particular question. This is the first one is very easy. Just you need to apply bitwise AND operator. And how to solve second one, that we will discuss in this class. So I'm writing that program into a new file. I have opened a new file here, and first I will try to save it and giving a name as test. Now I will write program here. So since I need to, I should accept 3 numbers first. So first number, let's say first number is A, and I will take input from the user, and what I will write here, enter first number, and write enter first number. Now I will ask for second number. Just I need to change here, enter second number, second number, and this will be B. Okay, this will be B, and I will again use C. I will use C for third number. So enter third number, right? Now I will write here logic. Suppose I am considering maximum number as the very first integer. You know why I am using, I want to solve this problem in this manner. Suppose I have been given 3 numbers. So what I will do, I will try to first find out maximum between first 2 numbers, right? So once I will get the maximum number, now I will compare this maximum number with the third number, right? In this way I can break down the whole problem into sub problems. Similarly, if you are having n number of integer and n numbers are there, whether it is float or integer, anything. So if you need to find out the maximum, so again you can apply these this particular algorithm. So just take a consider very first number as a maximum and compare it with the next number, right? And in this case, you will again get the maximum of these two number. Now compare the maximum number with the third number. Similarly, get the maximum number and then compare it with the fourth number and so on. So you can apply in this manner. When we will be using, when I will discuss looping construct, then we will see how can we scale this algorithm for very large numbers in the form of list and tuple. Suppose you are having a large number in the form of list and tuple. So you can apply a similar algorithm in those situations as well. So what I'm doing here, I'm considering maximum number as very first number. Now I will write logic. If maximum number is less than b, so it means my maximum will be I will update my maximum as a b, right? And if it is false, what should I do? If it is false, it means maximum number is greater than b, right? If it is false, maximum number is less than b is false, it means maximum number is greater than b, right? So which is actually in this case a, right? So I will write maximum number is equal to a, right? Now I got maximum number between a and b. Similar operation I will perform with for c as well. If maximum number is less than c, so I will write here maximum number is equal to c, right? Else I will write maximum number is equal to, or you could make it pass actually, just pass. It I do not want anything, because if maximum number c is greater than maximum number, it means c is the maximum number. Otherwise, maximum number is itself, right? So I am just making it pass. Similarly, you can write pass as well here. Why it's so? Just guess why I am writing pass. It means like in this case, since maximum number is less than b, it means b is maximum. If this is condition is false, it means b is less than maximum number. So maximum number is itself, right? So that's why I written here pass. Now I can use print maximum of three numbers is which is my maximum number, right? Just save it and execute this one and enter first number. Suppose first number is 56, second number is 21 and then 25. So maximum number is 56. So in this way you can apply, you can write code for maximum number. It can be scaled to larger number as well. So we'll see later on how can we find maximum number from a list, from a tuple, or from a dictionary, and so on. So we'll see that problem. So we have discussed this particular problem. Let me come to the next part of this lecture, that is loops in Python. So there could be several situations when the programmers need to execute a block of code multiple times. Suppose you are taking input from user and you want several inputs until unless user press let's say X, then only you will stop accepting the data. Otherwise, user can send can provide multiple data. Similarly, if you want to read a data set and you are having multiple records and you want to visit each record, right? So again in that case you can write loop for that purpose. So whenever the condition arises where you need to execute a code again and again multiple times, then you can apply loops. So a loop statement allows us to execute a statement or block of statement multiple times, and control mechanism is required, which is very important. So there should be a mechanism to stop to execute multiple times. Suppose you want to execute it till 10 times or you want to execute till 20 times. So there is a condition actually. So you have to enforce a condition. If that condition is false, then only you will um, uh, stop accepting data, or vice versa is also true, right? So there should be certain condition, and that condition need to be enforced. Otherwise, your loop would be executed infinite times, right? No, there are different loop structure: for loop, while loop, nested loop. So we are having different type of loops, and so we will see what are the different type of loop, and how to create for loops. The very first is for loop. The for loop executes a sequence of a statement multiple times. If so, for loop provides this type of construct where you can execute a code multiple times. Python for a statement iterates over the item in the order that they appear in the sequence. The sequence could be list, tuple, and and dictionary, and set, and so on. So the general syntax is this particular. For variable, let's say for I in range, we can apply range function as well. So I will discuss what is the range function and what it does. And if you are not using range, so we can apply, we can read data from list as well. Suppose your list is having, this is a list, and what actually list is, we will discuss in separate lecture. Like in this case, like 2, 3, 4, this is in list. So we can read individual element using the for loop. For I in A, so in this way I can read individual elements. Similarly, we can read data from tuple, string, and so on. So the procedure is how actually it executed. First, the variable start from the first item and execute the statement within the loop. So first it will start from this item, and then the value of the variable is changed to next item. Now the value will be changed to this item in the sequence, and the statement within the loop are executed again. So this will be accessed, and then the statement will be executed. Similarly, after the execution of the statement, again the next element will be accessed, right? And the statement will be executed inside the for loop. And if there is no such element, like in this case, so what would happen? It will come out from the loop, for loop. So that is the procedure how actually for loop works. Now here creating for loop using range function. So what range function does, it actually gives you a range between 0 to bond -1. So this is bond -1. There are different versions of range actually. So in this version of range, it gives you a value from 0 to bond -1. So the range function creates a sequence from 0 to bond -1. So suppose I am using range 5. So it will give me a sequence 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? That is bond -1. The variable start from first item 0 and execute the statement within the loop. So if you are using range in for loop, so what it will do? It will start from 0 and then it will go till bond -1, right? After that, it will be, the loop will be terminated. Like in this case, you can take an example here. For x in range 2, it means it will be executed, the whole, this set of statement will be executed 2 times, 0 and 1, for x0 and for x1. So first x is equal to 0 will come, and after that x is equal to 1 would come, right? And when after that the loop will be terminated, because we have used bond as 2, right? There is one more version of range function, that is lower bound to upper bound. So it will create a sequence from lower bound to upper bound -1. Let's say you are having a range of, sorry, let me erase this one. So let's say you are having a range of 4 to 8. So it will give you a sequence 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And in this way, you can iterate individual elements in this case. Like in this case, this loop will be executed for x is equal to 7, then s is equal to 8, then 9, right? So it will be executed 3 times for different values of x. There is one more variation of range, that is lower bound to upper bound step value. So suppose I am writing range 7 to 12 and step value 2, right? So it will give me a sequence 7, 9, 11, that's it. It will increase my number by 2, right? Because the range is step value is 2. Similarly, if I would give another step value, so accordingly it would be updated, and rest will be executed as we have seen in the previous version of range. So like in this case, the loop, this particular separate statement will be executed for x is equal to 7, then x is equal to 9, that's it. And similarly, we can create for loop with tuple and with list as well. So these tuple and list are two different type of sequence in Python. So tuple again contains more than it contains collection of elements. Similarly, list also contains collection of elements. The difference between tuple and list is tuple is immutable. It means you cannot modify individual elements, but in case of list, you can modify individual elements. That is the basic difference between list and tuple. And we will discuss list, tuple and other data structure in a separate lecture. But in this slide, what it says for x in 7, 10, 12. So I can visit individual elements. First, x 7 will be printed, then 9 will be printed, x is equal to 9 will be printed, and that's it, since my upper bound is 10. Similarly, in this case, since it will be 2 will be also printed, because I am not using the range. Sorry, this is not a range function. So first x is equal to 7 will be accessed, then 10 will be accessed, and then 2 will be accessed. So this loop will be executed 3 times. First for x is equal to 7, then x is equal to 10. First x is equal to 7, then x is equal to 10, and then x is equal to 2. So in this manner, it will be executed. I was thinking that it is a range function. This is not a range function here. We are directly accessing the tuple. Similarly, we are directly accessing the list in this case. So first 12 will be accessed, then 3, then 4, right, in this case. Now, similarly, we can apply while loops as well. So like in this case, this is the structure of the while loop. So while condition, while a equal to 0, suppose this condition true, then this will be executed. Like in this way, you can apply your condition. So this could be single variable, or it could have expression as well, like while a plus b is greater than 0, suppose, let's say. So any condition could be there. So if it is true, then only statement will be executed. If it is false, then the loop will be terminated. Like in this case, since x is equal to 5 and I have written the condition x is less than 10, right? So it will be executed for x is equal to 5, right? Then x is equal to 6, then x is equal to 7, x is equal to 8, x is equal to 9. After that, the loop will be terminated. And one thing is very important here. If you are including a while condition, so you have to use, you have to write this statement. You need to update the x value as well. Otherwise, if you will not include the increment or decrement operator, then what would happen? This loop will be executed for infinite time. Like in this case, I have not mentioned the how counter will be updated. So the conditional need to be, suppose if a variable is being used in the condition, so that variable need to be modified so that the loop should be terminated. Otherwise, your execution will be performing infinite times, right? So break statement, break, what it will do? It terminates the loop prior to the exit condition becoming false, right? It will break out of a loop. Like in this case, if I is equal to 3, then the loop will be terminated, right? Loop will be prematurely terminated actually. Since I can, what would be the value of I could be 2, right? 3. As soon as I is 3, this loop will be terminated. So the rest of the value of I will not be executed. So in this case, loop will be prematurely terminated. There is one more variation of loop that is called else clause with loops. A loop statement may contain an else clause if it is executed when the loop terminates through exhaustion of the iteration in for loop. Suppose your for loop has exhausted all the elements. I mean, it has already accessed all the elements. After that, then if it is normal termination, then else loop can be executed. Like in this case, if there is a normal termination, it means if all the elements in this list have been accessed properly, then else will be executed. If it is premature termination, like in this case, if x mod 2 is equal to 0, then else part will not be executed. This else part will be executed once all the elements have been accessed, right? There is no premature termination. Then only else will be executed. Like in this case, if you will consider this example, since there is no even numbers, so this loop will not be, this if condition will remain false, right? And so break will not be executed in this case, right? So else part will be executed. Suppose if there is a number 2 here in this case, so there would be a premature termination. In that case, else will not be executed. So write a program to compute the factorial of integer, write a program to check whether integer is prime, write a program to find prime numbers between two numbers. So this type of programs you can write using Python program. We'll see how can we write in next lecture. So I am stopping here, and we will meet again in next lecture. Thank you so much for joining this session.